Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're doing a deep dive, really tailored just for you. We're digging into this incredibly dynamic world of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, you've shared a whole load of sources with us, articles, research notes, and our goal today is basically to sift through it all.
Exactly. Pull out the key insights, help you cut through the noise.
That's the plan. AI is moving so fast, it's frankly a bit dizzying. The sheer amount of info out there can be overwhelming. So we want to guide you through the key stuff.
What are the big concepts, the trends we're seeing? Where is it actually being used? The whole landscape.
Right. And the challenges, the implications, what really matters right now.
Consider this your focus session on understanding what's significant in AI today. So, ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So the sources really paint this picture of just unprecedented growth. One chart jumped out right away: user growth, usage, and especially capital expenditure. They're all described as being on unprecedented ramps.
Unprecedented. That's a strong word. But the user adoption numbers kind of back it up, don't they?
They really do. Get this. ChatGPT hit 1 million users in 5 days.
5 days? That's insane when you think about, like, the iPhone took, what, 74 days?
Exactly. And TiVo was over 1,600 days. The Ford Model T, maybe 2,500 days.
Yeah.
It's just a different league.
Wow. And it wasn't just a flash in the pan.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The sources mentioned ChatGPT's weekly active users grew 200% year over year. And by April 2025, some estimates put it at 800 million weekly users.
800 million weekly. It's hard to even picture that scale. How does that compare to, say, the internet's growth?
Well, think about this. The internet took 23 years to get to 90% penetration globally. But according to one source, LLMs hit 90% of leading U.S. users in just 3 years.
3 years. That's hyperspeed adoption.
It is, and it actually follows this historical pattern, but accelerated, like on steroids. Each big tech cycle, industrial revolution, PCs, desktop internet, mobile, hit 50% household penetration faster than the last one, roughly half the time. And the AI era seems to be doing the same, maybe hitting that 50% mark in just about 3 years. It fits the pattern.
And behind all this growth, there's obviously money pouring in. Capital investment.
Massive amounts. The sources highlight the big six. U.S. tech companies, Apple, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta. Their combined CapEx jumped 63% year over year in 2024.
63%. To what figure?
$212 billion.
Wow. $212 billion.
And here's the kicker. The spending was 15% of their total revenue in 2024.
15%. Up from what?
Up from just 8% 10 years ago.
Okay, so it's not just more spending. It's a bigger slice of their business.
Exactly. It shows AI infrastructure isn't just some side project. Yeah. It's becoming absolutely core to how they operate.
Right. It's fundamental. So with all this investment, all these users, what are these AI systems actually becoming? We know AI research has been around for ages.
Decades, yeah. Turing tests in the 50s, Dartmouth Conference, the AI winters. But the sources point to recent breakthroughs, especially around 2022, leading to the launch of generative AI.
Which many are calling AI's iPhone moment, right?
That's the phrase, yeah. And generative AI is basically AI that creates stuff, text, images, audio, code, based on patterns it learns from data.
But the sources suggest we're already moving beyond that towards AI agents.
Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting, potentially transformative. Think about traditional chatbots. They react, right? You ask something, they answer. Pretty narrow.
Okay. So how are agents different?
Agents are designed to be more like intelligent, goal-driven processes. They're autonomous. They can manage memory, coordinate across different apps, and actually do things for you over time. It's less about just responding, more about accomplishing.
Okay, so give me an example. Instead of me asking for my order status.
Right. The agent could potentially track it across different systems, maybe notify you proactively if there's a delay, perhaps even start a customer service interaction for you, all without you having to prompt every single step.
Huh. That's a pretty big leap. Is there much interest in this?
Huge interest. Google searches for AI agent apparently jumped over 1,000% in about 16 months. And companies are moving past just testing them. They're actually deploying agents for real work.
Wait, what kind of work?
Things like lead qualification in sales, complex order tracking, even controlling your computer screen to automate tasks, scheduling meetings, stuff like that.
So they're turning chat interfaces into actual workhorses.
Exactly. Tools that really get things done.
Okay, so the capabilities are evolving fast. What about performance? And the competition?
Both are intense. Performance is improving dramatically. Models aren't just getting close to human levels. On some specific tasks, they're blowing past them.
Like in language understanding, I saw some benchmarks mentioned.
Yeah, the MMLU benchmark tests understanding across 57 subjects. Top models are now consistently scoring above the accepted human benchmark of around 89.8%.
That's pretty significant for general knowledge and reasoning.
It really is. And think about the Turing test telling human from machine. Data from March 2025 apparently showed 73% of testers in one format mistook AI for human.
73%.
In one specific chat example with GPT 4.5, testers were 87% sure it was human. But it wasn't.
Wow. That level of realism is,
Yeah.
profound.
And it's not just text, right? The multimodal stuff is getting incredibly realistic, too.
Images, audio.
Exactly. Images from models like Midjourney are stunningly realistic. Audio generation and translation, like Spotify's integrations, are getting really good. These multimodal models handle text, image, audio, video all together. That opens up applications like automated quality control or sophisticated assistive tech.
And this improvement is happening across a lot of different models.
An absolute explosion. The sources show huge increases in new large-scale models being released. Multimodal models up over 1,100% in 2 years. Language models up over 400%. Vision, speech, audio, all seeing massive growth in the number of models out there.
It sounds incredibly crowded. How does the whole closed versus open source thing fit in?
That's a really key dynamic right now. Initially, the big closed models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they had the edge in performance and polish. They grabbed a lot of the early consumer and big enterprise use.
That's changing.
It seems to be. The performance gap is closing, and fast. You look at benchmarks like the LMSYS chatbot arena, where users compare models head-to-head, and you see this convergence. Top open source models are getting really close to the best closed ones. Sometimes even smaller, more efficient open models are catching up.
And some are being developed outside the usual U.S. tech hubs.
Yeah, there's mention of models from China achieving strong performance, sometimes with lower training costs, too.
So what does this mean for developers?
It's huge for them. The sources say developers are increasingly moving towards these powerful, low-cost open models like Llama or DeepSeek.
Why this shift?
Well, developers often care more about raw capability, customization options, and cost-effectiveness than, say, a super polished interface. They want to build on the models.
Makes sense. I saw a quote from Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, predicting open source will be the main type of model developers build with in 2025.
And the activity levels support this. GitHub repos, Hugging Face models.
Absolutely. Developer AI tool adoption is way up 44% to 63% year over year. AI repos on GitHub jumped about 175% in 16 months. And models on Hugging Face exploded, something like 33 times more models between March 2022 and November 2024.
Wow. And that's tied to the economics.
Directly. Falling costs to run the models, the inference costs, plus that performance getting so much better, it just fuels experimentation and adoption.
Okay, so none of this happens in a vacuum. It needs infrastructure. Serious infrastructure.
That's a huge bottleneck highlighted in the sources.
Yeah.
It's not just about algorithms or data anymore. It's compute power, the electrical grid, the supply chains to build the hardware. Data centers are becoming these really critical strategic assets.
And the money is flowing there too, right? You mentioned the CapEx earlier.
Yeah, and specifically into building data centers. U.S. data center construction value was up almost 50% year over year recently. And we're building new ones much faster than just expanding old ones, like 16 times faster growth in new construction versus 5 times faster for existing capacity expansion in key U.S. markets. A massive build-out.
And not just any servers, but specialized hardware.
Exactly. GPUs, TPUs, custom AI accelerators.
Yeah.
Companies like Google with their TPUs and Amazon with Trainium are building their own silicon.
Why build their own?
Performance, better economics, more control. Amazon claims their Trainium 2 chip gives them like 30–40% better price performance than standard GPUs. And you see other players in the ecosystem, Astrolabs for connectivity, VST data for storage, also growing fast. Oracle's AI infrastructure business is booming too.
So let's talk about the economics a bit more. Training is expensive.
Incredibly. Around $100 billion for a top model now, potentially billions in the near future.
Billions. But the cost to actually use the models, the inference cost?
That's plummeting, which is key. The sources mention NVIDIA's Blackwell chip using something like 105,000 times less energy per token than their older Kepler chips from 2014.
105,000 times less energy. That's the classic tech story, isn't it? Falling costs, rising performance.
Exactly. That combination always drives adoption. Making AI inference cheaper makes widespread use possible.
So where is all this capability and investment actually showing up in the real world, beyond the tech companies themselves?
It's getting embedded everywhere.
Mm-mm.
Big tech firms are obviously putting AI features in everything you see AI mentioned constantly in their earnings calls. But enterprise AI projects are also shifting. It's less about just cutting costs now and more about driving actual growth, making sales teams more productive, improving customer service, boosting output.
And CMOs are using it.
Yeah, one survey said 75% of global CMOs are using or at least testing AI tools.
What about some specific examples from companies?
The sources give a few good ones. JP Morgan is apparently seeing real value from AML projects, saving some employees hours each week. Kaiser Permanente doctors using AI scribes from Abridge to summarize patient visits. Over 10 million summaries done already.
10 million.
Wow. And Yum, brands KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, they launched an AI platform for restaurant management, Bite by Yum, rolled out to over 25,000 restaurants in under a year.
25,000 restaurants, that's broad deployment.
Right. And beyond these big guys, you've got this whole wave of specialized AI software companies popping up.
Focused on specific industries.
Exactly. And growing incredibly fast.
Mm-hmm.
Companies tackling software engineering like AnySphere, Cursor AI, $1 million to $300 million ARR in about 2 years.
300 million, that's astronomical growth.
It is. Lovable in product development, 13x ARR growth in 5 months. Abridge in healthcare, doubling ARR in 5 months. Harvey in legal tech. Decagon in customer service. AlphaSense in finance. All showing these super fast revenue ramps, much faster than traditional SaaS.
So the value is starting to get captured. What about AI in the physical world?
Yeah, the sources call this the rise of physical agents, embedding AI into cars, machines, defense systems.
Like self-driving cars.
Definitely. Tesla's FSD miles driven are up like 100x over less than 3 years. Waymo grabbed over a quarter of the San Francisco rideshare market in under 2 years. And companies like Applied Intuition are providing the core AI software for automakers and defense.
And defense specifically.
And Dural is mentioned, providing AI-powered autonomous systems for the U.S. military. Doubled revenue year over year for the last 2 years.
Even agriculture.
Yep. Carbon Robotics using AI vision for automated weeding. Farmers need 247 solutions, face labor shortages. AI helps address that. Their fleet's usage is growing significantly.
Okay, this is a lot. The pace, the applications everywhere. But it's not all smooth sailing, is it? The sources mention risks.
Absolutely, and rightly so. There's real trepidation alongside the excitement. Misuse, bias in decision-making, job impacts, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
These are serious concerns.
And the big question, monetization. Is all this growth actually translating into profit?
That's a key point the sources grapple with. Usage is up, CapEx is up, but sustainable profitability is still the puzzle being solved.
Though the big tech companies are pushing hard with AI features everywhere, Copilot, Meta AI, Grok, Gemini, Apple Intelligence.
Right. Symphony Assistant from TikTok, Firefly from Adobe, Zoom AI Companion, Salesforce Agentforce. Yeah, it's across the board.
And some are showing real revenue numbers now.
Yeah, Microsoft's AI business is cited at maybe a $13 billion annual run rate, up 175% year over year.
Yeah.
Anthropic's revenue reportedly jumped 20x to $2 billion annualized in 18 months. And those specialized AI startups, they're hitting revenue milestones faster than older SaaS companies did. So monetization is happening. It's just still evolving.
Okay. And layered on top of all this is the geopolitical angle, the U.S. versus China space race for AI.
Yeah, the sources frame it that way. AI seen as critical for national power and resilience.
U.S. companies lead in market cap currently, but China's rising fast. Tencent, Alibaba.
And China's closing the gap fast in AI model performance too, according to benchmarks. Sometimes using less money for training, increasingly using their own chips, like from Huawei.
Interesting. And usage patterns differ globally.
Definitely. While ChatGPT might lead overall in many markets, Chinese users mainly stick to local platforms like DeepSeek, which is also growing quickly. It's a fragmented landscape.
And the public reception is different too.
Starkly different, based on the sources. Chinese citizens apparently much more optimistic. 83% see net benefits from AI versus only 39% in the U.S.
Wow, 83%, 39%? That's a huge gap.
It suggests different societal views, maybe different adaptations, could even influence which platforms people choose based on national identity.
Fascinating. So, looking ahead, what are the next big frontiers for AI?
The sources list areas like medical discovery, precision manufacturing, advanced robotics, autonomous science, cybersecurity, personalized education. Lots of potential. We're already seeing things like protein sequencing models getting much bigger and more capable.
Which brings us to the future of work. How does AI change things for us?
Fundamentally, it seems, it enables cognitive automation, automating thinking tasks. And the pace of improvement in AI's cognitive abilities is just astounding.
I saw that quote from Jensen Huang.
Yeah.
You won't lose your job to AI, but to someone using AI.
Exactly. The idea is it could augment work, maybe help fill labor shortages, boost GDP.
Is there evidence of impact already?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Companies are adopting it for productivity. Studies show it does boost worker output in areas like customer support and science. And look at job postings. Non-AI IT jobs maybe dipped slightly over 7 years, but AI job postings up 448%.
448%. So it's a shift, not just elimination.
A definite shift. And historically, productivity gains and job growth have often gone hand in hand long term, so maybe AI enhances work overall.
Okay, one last really interesting idea from the sources.
Yeah.
The agent-first internet.
Yeah, this is pretty mind-bending. With global connectivity growing, think Starlink reaching new areas, many people coming online for the first time might interact primarily through AI agents.
Skipping browsers and apps as we know them.
Potentially. Imagine your main interface being an AI agent that orchestrates everything for you across different services.
That could really change where the value lies, couldn't it? Less about owning the app, more about owning that agent interface.
Precisely. A totally different way of interacting with the digital world.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. It's been a whirlwind tour.
It really has.
Yeah.
So key takeaways. AI growth, adoption, investment are unprecedented. Capabilities evolving fast from chatbots to autonomous agents.
Fierce competition, open source catching up rapidly, huge infrastructure build-out underpinning everything.
Economics shifting, high training costs, but falling inference costs driving use. AI is spreading across every industry, digital and physical.
Plus the geopolitical race, ongoing questions about monetization, and the profound potential impact on the future of work.
The pace is just incredible, the potential transformative.
So here's that final thought for you, the listener, to mull over, based on everything we've discussed. Are we really heading towards an agent-first internet? With these powerful AI agents becoming the primary way many people, especially those newly connected, interact online, what does that future look like? How does it change things for you, for businesses, for where value is created?
It's a fundamental potential shift in the digital landscape. Definitely something to think about.
If this deep dive resonated with you and you want to keep exploring AI concepts, trends, and what's next, definitely keep following the deep dive. And check out the Before AGI podcast for more insights.
And for those of you looking for more hands-on learning, tutorials, and technical explorations of AI, the Ian Ochieng AI YouTube channel, that's Ochieng, is a great resource to check out.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.